And welcome to the June 17th, 2026 Rodeo Oversight Committee meeting. I am now calling this meeting to order. And welcome to the People's House. It's good to see a lot of people that are active in their community. This is your home. Don't make it the first and last time. Come on over. Twice a month we meet here and come and have a good laugh. Find out what your local politicians are up to, and we're just going to have a great time. This meeting is available in Spanish for members of our public in attendance and the ones that are on Zoom. Translation devices can be obtained in the foyer. Esta reunión está disponible en español para todos los miembros del público y en Zoom. Las unidades de traducción se pueden obtener en la entrada aquí en la rotonda. Zoom webinar participation. Zoom webinar participation is available for members of the public. The Zoom webinar ID and link are available on the posted agenda on the city website. Now I'm going to ask you if you could stand, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. President Eggers, if you could do us honor, please. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, sir. General public comment. We are now open for public comment on items that are not on this agenda. And they're in the
Chair
city of
Barrera,
Salinas.
can we do roll call first?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
This is my first meeting here.
We'll do a brief roll call just to acknowledge the members that are present. So we'll go ahead and start. Councilmember Barajas? Absent. Councilmember De La Rosa?
Here.
And Councilmember and Chair Barrera.
Here, thank you.
Also present with us are California Rodeo Board members Baldwin, Eggers, and Nielsen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, just so you folks will know, Councilmember Jose Luis Barajas, he's on medical leave, so he won't be able to join us today. But we wish him well. Now we can get on to the general public comment. Thank you, City Clerk, for being there. Public comments generally are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. Is there anybody that's going to be speaking on topics that are not on the agenda? Okay.
I don't know, I'm going to be talking about the rodeo. It's on the agenda, but.
These are topics not on the agenda. Each person will address the city council during public comment. Shall do so in an orderly manner and shall not make any personal, slanderous, or profane remarks to any member of the city council. Bottom line, let's respect each other, whether we agree or disagree. After this meeting, we may just go out and have a little adult drink. Who knows? Let's just be nice to each other and enjoy the meeting. So any public comment that is not on the agenda, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yolanda Hayes. I'm from Creekbridge. I'd just like you to acknowledge Miss Susan Winiger, who is a relative of the Sherwood family that donated the rodeo grounds to the city of Salinas. And she came to live in Salinas about 6 months ago, and I think we're very honored to have her as one of our residents, full-time residents again. So I'd just like for you to please acknowledge her and applaud maybe for her family, what they gave to the city of Salinas in order for us to grow this way. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. A nice thought there. Anyone else? Items not on the agenda? Anybody on Zoom? Mr. Guerra?
Good afternoon, Sega Ramon Tavia Community. How's everybody doing today? Great. Just want to let everybody know, sorry I can't be there today. I just hope and pray that the city of Salinas, council members, city manager, and the mayor, please do your job, do better, make the city better for everybody. And let's stop spending money we don't need to. Last night at the meeting, you guys kept bringing up, I want to say you guys, the council members, and the mayor about giving away money again that we don't even have. All of a sudden, you guys pulled out another 500 grand out of somewhere that we did not have. Yeah, we have homeless people on the street still. We have people that don't have nowhere to live. We have other things we can do. Our roads, our infrastructure is just destroyed. And I feel like nobody cares there. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of nobody caring. All the money we pay in taxes, and nobody cares about our infrastructure. And you keep raising every rate you can on us, from the sewer rates to everything else you can do, and it's wrong. You guys really need to stop doing that and start thinking about, hey, maybe Measure J won't pass, and if it doesn't, be a lot of you guys unemployed. And you guys don't think about that. You think about spending more and more money. It's disgusting. Please, do your job. Stop spending money. Stop spending money that is not yours. Thank you, and God bless you. Yolanda, good to see you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom? That's it? Thank you. Public comment will be closed. And now we're going to receive a report from Kristen Lundquist, our director.
Good evening, members of the Oversight Committee and the public. My name is Kristen Lundquist, and I am the Library and Community Services Director with the City of Salinas. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, our city manager, Renee Mendez, assigned me to work very closely with Barbara, my counterpart over at Rodeo, really to build a foundation, strengthen relationships, coordinate and collaborate on a variety of issues that come up. And so she and I have had several meetings to talk about a variety of issues. It's been a great open dialogue. She is someone that I know that if I have questions or need something, I can pick up the phone and call. I know she feels the same. And so it really, I think, has helped to strengthen the relationship between the California Rodeo and the City of Salinas. A couple of things that we instituted 2 years ago. We started bringing together staff from Rodeo and some of your board members, along with all of the city staff who have any hand in making sure that your fire permits are executed and all of those things, and just really to coordinate. That had been something that hadn't happened in a number of years. And I think it was very beneficial both for city staff to have a better understanding of what was happening, but also for Rodeo staff to understand some of the concerns that city staff and departments may have, with the whole purpose of trying to mitigate any problems on the day of our events. And so I want to thank Barbara for her collaboration. And I look forward to continuing our partnership and working through whatever challenges that could come up, and celebrate all the wins, because there's so many wins here in this community from both what the city's doing and what the Rodeo's doing. And with that, I'd like to invite Barbara to maybe give us a recap of the 2025 events, as well as any new things you'd like to share about the upcoming 2026 events.
Thank you, Kristen. I very much appreciate our collaboration and open communication with each other. It's been amazing. So to give kind of a recap of 2025, so some of the wins that we have, we celebrated our 115th year at the Rodeo, which is amazing. Nationally, we had over 116,000 households watched our event live. That's just live. That's not including rewatching. So that's 116,000 homes from coast to coast are being exposed to our amazing community. We also donated over $854,000 to 39 different community groups. We gave $30,000 to 6 recipients for scholarships. We started a free shuttle service, which was a huge hit. It helped lessen traffic. It helped people from parking across the streets, and it also just gave a free service for the public to use. We also made an economic impact report, so we'll touch on that a little bit later, but that was a very big project and excited about that. We had our junior rodeo, which is something we're passionate about, being a rodeo ourselves, with over 500 contestants, so kids up to 18 years old came and got to experience rodeo and participate themselves. And we also had Country Christmas, which is our event where we gave over 1,100 gifts away to kids in the local community. A completely free event. We had free hot chocolate, free donuts. They got to get pictures with Santa and the Grinch. So it was a very rewarding event that we're very proud to be able to host. A few challenges for the year was we saw a little bit of a dip in rentals and events, probably just due to a little bit of a dip in the economy. Also, with some of the political climate going on, we did have multiple rental cancellations. Monster trucks, although we've had Monster Jam a long time, we had a new promoter partner. So it being a new event, we did have about 6,000 less people in attendance. And then also with the economy being a little bit rougher the past couple years, we did see a 3.6% decrease in attendance. Another challenge is just the cost of concerts. We try to really bring top talent here, but a lot of the top talent wants $1 million or more. So trying to keep that event going for our community is something that we strive to do. Then also just the facility upkeep itself. So as all things, the buildings in our facility, I mean, everything deteriorates in time, and our grandstands were built in 1996. But in 2024 alone, we put nearly $550,000 into the facility. Last year, we put over $818,000, including our perimeter fence, the new board that we have over at Rabobank Stadium, repairs to our well, and then a lot of other large-scale projects we had in the complex. Things that we have upcoming for 2026, we're very excited for the 116th year. America turns 250 this year, so we want to kind of add some of those implements into our show, into our production. We also have a new podcast, which is really cool. It's something that we have seen viewership, again, from coast to coast all across the country, which is really exciting. We even have contestants reaching out, wanting to tell about their amazing time they have in Salinas, which is really cool that people love our town and love our event so much. We want to continue the free shuttle service. And then also we're very involved with the Golden Circle program. So it's a program that aids children and their families that have pediatric cancer. So we donate money to them. We give them gas cards, cards for groceries. We even send one child to the National Finals Rodeo in Vegas every year. But something new that we got to do was, unfortunately, one of our little warriors got some bad news about health, and we were able to send her to San Diego to have an amazing weekend with her family. So she got to go to the rodeo down there that they hold at the baseball stadium, but also we were able to get her tickets to SeaWorld. So it was very, very rewarding for us. Pardon me. Some foreseeable challenges, just the economy overall, like everybody, and gas is a bit expensive, $6 a gallon. It's hard to decide whether you're going to spend that extra money you have on events, since it's not necessarily a necessity like bread and water is, or milk, So we are expecting we might be a little bit behind in our normal numbers that we see, but with our amazing and loyal fan base, we're hoping to be to our normal numbers. And then also just continued facility upkeep and keeping those costs at bay. Yeah, so we had a very successful 2025 and looking forward to a very successful 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Lundquist? Councilmember De La Rosa, do you have any questions?
None right now.
Any comments?
The comment I want to make is I'm proud. I'm proud of the rodeo. When you're being transparent by showing our budget, and I think the public, we can see that budget right online and your website and everything, all the monies that are coming in and everything that you're giving out. So to me, I am really happy to see all these nonprofits in our community that are helping our community with the donation that you give. Okay, so I'm very, very happy to see the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember De La Rosa. Ms. Lundquist, I'm going to have some questions from the lease. Ms. Costley, as we enter this conversation, please feel free to enter in. What we want to do is we want to get as much information as we can. Ms. Lundquist, at this point, what is the city, and I know that the Rodeo Association is not an employee of the city, it's an independent contractor. We are the landlord, they're the tenants. But my question as I'm looking at this lease, what is the city's responsibility, whether it's money, facilities, what, I would like the public to know what our responsibility with the rodeo, what are we responsible for?
So I think the city's oversight of the lease to coordinate and collaborate with the rodeo. There are reporting requirements, and so it's the city's responsibility to coordinate and make sure that those that information is being provided. Under maintenance of the facility, that is, but for the well, there is some shared responsibilities. But maintenance of the rest of the facility is the responsibility of the California Rodeo. They manage their uses, all of the rentals and that sort of thing. We don't have anything to do with that.
Okay. And being that you said they're required to give us reporting, my question here is, I'll give you an example. We just had a very successful monster trucks this last Sunday. Great event. Families were excited. What is the responsibility with the city and the rodeo on that event?
So the lease does outline that 30 days following the event, the rodeo is to submit a ticket manifest along with the payment of the ticket surcharges. There are 2 different surcharges. For non-rodeo events, it's $2.50 per ticket that is remitted to the city. And for rodeo events, it's $1 a ticket that's remitted to the city.
So after 30 days, you will know how much total surcharge you received?
We will. And this is something that Barbara and I have worked through. So in the past, the ticket manifests and the checks for the surcharges, they go directly to the finance department. And so going forward, they're also going to come to a copy to myself as well. So I can help keep track and make sure that if we see that maybe we haven't received something from an event, I can reach out to Barbara and say, hey, it's been 30 days, is this coming? So that we can work through those things.
Yeah. And thank you for that point. And we're going to have a good discussion here. This issue with, and I just, the mayor appointed me about a week and a half ago to this committee, so I've been trying to read as much as I can. I know Councilmember Sandoval was successful in getting, I don't know, I hear, and keep me in line here, city attorney, 100,000 plus. My understanding, if Councilmember Sandoval was not up to speed on this, we wouldn't have received that money. So what happened there?
So I can tell you that the rodeo has caught up in all of their payments. And to the tune of, to my knowledge, it's close to $80,000 that's been submitted from past periods of time where there hadn't been that coordination to receive and make sure that we were receiving those ticket surcharges. So in my opinion, they are caught up and they are up to date in terms of the ticket surcharges and the reporting requirements.
Yeah. So are you the city representative that's in charge of this as far as making sure it happens?
Yes, it is me.
Just let me go back to the lease. I'm looking, it's on page 14 if you have it, 16.2. It says availability of records. The association hereby, which is the Rodeo Association, agrees to disclose and make available any and all information, reports or books, records, or accounts pertaining to this lease agreement to the city. Can a private person that's interested in finding out the financials, do they have access to that?
Anything that's submitted to the city is a public record and should be made available unless the city attorney has a different perspective on that. But that's my understanding.
And Mr. Callahan, how would, let's just suppose Tony Barrera is interested in finding out about a certain event, how much money came in, or what would I need to do?
Just simply ask us.
Okay.
We'll provide that information.
And anybody Any person in the city, I mean, that lives here can? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. One of the things, also the Rodeo Association is a great partner of the Boys and Girls Club. What is I understand the city leases to the Rodeo leases to the Boys and Girls Club. How does that work there?
So there's a sublease, I believe,
Yes, there is a sublease.
Boys and Girls Club from the Rodeo.
There is a sublease.
Councilmember Barrera, Tim Baldwin from the California Rodeo. We sublease to the Boys and Girls Club, and that sublease is part of the most recent lease amendment that was approved by the City Council. Currently, the Boys and Girls Club is on, there was an option to extend their sublease term in the approved sublease agreement, and they're currently on their final 20-year term. And so that, that lease is in effect, and we're in pretty steady conversations with the Boys and Girls Club.
And being that the lease, the city, because I know we have a great relationship here, a long-term relationship. The lease from the city to the Rodeo is $1 per year. How much is the lease from the Rodeo to the Boys Club and Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, there's no economic charge to the Boys and Girls Club. We share facilities, and so it's, it's not there's not a profit center there.
Okay. And thank you for that information, Mr. Baldwin. And you and I had met, and Ms. Costley, we had met a few days ago. Looking at area A, B, and C, and D in this lease on page 2, let's just suppose something needs fixing and all that. Who gets to fix that? Does the Rodeo or do we get involved?
All of the maintenance responsibility is on the California Rodeo. There is a shared responsibility of the well. The water pressure system and water lines.
Yeah. So then, Ms. Costley, what happened on this situation where the Rodeo had to pay the city, I guess now we're going to be able to stay on top of that as far as the accounting.
Yeah, so as Kristen was saying, I'm also very grateful for that she and I are meeting pretty much quarterly to make sure that we're following the lease on both ends. You have exactly what you need and vice versa. We've also put a lot of different kind of processes. I have internally put different processes in place to make sure that we're on top of making sure everything's paid within their 30 days, including our events as well as promoter events that come through. So we're in a very good spot, and we're going to continue with that process to make sure everything continues being on time.
Yes, and all my questions are going to refer to the lease, but use of local vendors on all your events. I mean, I know the Rodeo does in July, and then you have promoters, I guess contractors. What is the policy? For example, if Tony Barrera wants to go out and sell tacos, and I live here and my business is here, what's the possibility? How do I get in as a local vendor?
Yeah. We love having more and more events, so please come to the front office or check out our website. Under the complex tab on our website, you can very easily see what all of the different rental fees are and everything. It's the same for everyone. Basically, it just comes down to availability. If we have a spot, we want you to come and have an event at our property. It's a win-win. It's great for new people to be able to come in and have events. And then also it's nice for us to continue to have those multiple events throughout the year. And it's also great for the community because it's something else for everyone to enjoy. So, and anybody can come to our front office, call our office, or send an email online to be a vendor or to have an event.
Thank you.
But that including we can only have so many concerts a year from the lease. But besides that, festivals, we just had a taco festival not long ago.
Yes.
The more the merrier.
Yes. And you know what I heard? I don't know how true this is, but is it true that the city has 1 or 2 days a year that they can use your facility? What is that about? What does that consist of?
Councilmember Barrera, Tim Baldwin. So, yeah, there are provisions within the lease that allow for city use, and I think you'll currently see that the city police department periodically makes use of the parking lot for motorcycle training, and so there is some use by the city, under the express terms of the lease.
Yeah. You know, we've heard, I know on your board, and volunteers, I mean, you have hundreds of volunteers.
1,400 to be exact,
That
Or
says a lot. Thank you.
to estimate, I should say.
Thank you for all the people that volunteer on that. How do you do it, like when you need a project, a major project, you need a developer, you need a contractor, are your board members, especially if they know the skill, are they allowed to make money off of that job, or do they volunteer, or how does that work?
So, our council member, Brera, Tim Baldwin again, our organization has a conflicts of interest policy as it relates to interested director transactions that we follow and police ourselves. And so anything that would be a direct contract between a board member would fall under that conflicts policy. We do have a maintenance and construction volunteer committee. They're volunteers, they're great folks, tradespeople from throughout the community that volunteer time, come on work days, do a lot of projects. And so we do have a lot of work that's done by volunteers, which we appreciate very much. Then for other events, we bid out responsibly for other big projects. We manage those projects just like anybody else would when you're out there trying to do an improvement on the improvements that we've constructed on the leased premises. We manage it just like any other tenant would a construction project.
Yeah, yes. Thank you. Ms. Lundquist, I know the lease calls for at least 2 meetings per year. I understand we haven't had a meeting in 2 years. Can you let the public know why that was?
I think it just wasn't on the radar. We had a number of other priorities, and it wasn't something that trickled to the top. But we are moving forward with 2 meetings a year. I know we already have a couple of dates set in 2027, and we'll be firming up a second meeting in 2026.
Great. Thank you. And thank you for your input, Mr. Baldwin. We are now open for public comment on this item. Is there anyone that would like to speak on what we're talking about on this subject?
So, good evening. Good evening, Rodeo Committee and Honorable Rodeo people. My name's Eloise Shim, and I do have some questions and some comments. I'm an HRB member, and I've done some historic research about the rodeo that I'd like to share. I know that one of the relatives of Eugene Sherwood is here, and he donated that land in the 1800s. And the reason he donated it was because he wanted to have horse racing every year in a fair there. And so during that time, there were, in 1912, there was a rodeo, and there were women's competitions and bucking broncos, and the population at that time was 4,500 people. And during the Southern Pacific Railroad had special tickets so that people from San Francisco and other places in California could come. And there were 3,000 people that came. So that doubled the population. So if you have that same phenomena now, you're going to have like maybe 1 million people in Salinas. So some of the questions that I think that this meeting should have taken place much sooner, and I think the data which is attainable should have been made available. The income, expenditures, all that kind of thing that was very briefly
Finish your thought, please.
Yeah, that was very briefly told by Barbara, I think is her name. I think we need, the public needs to have more transparency. Otherwise, people are going to think that the rodeo is kind of a shady proposition because it's not transparent. It doesn't appear transparent if we don't see any real numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public want to speak on this issue?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ignacio Fragoso. I just want to praise the city for actually bringing this together and actually formalizing this. I think it brings some sort of transparency for the city. You know, I'd like to maybe ask, I'm not sure how it works, but maybe we could have people from the general public serve on the oversight committee, not just elected officials or city staff. But nevertheless, I think it's a good thing to have and appreciate some sort of transparency for the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Peter Zalai. So my council member is Councilmember Sandoval, and my understanding was at one moment he was chair of whatever committee existed. And according to information that he's been sending out here on Instagram, he made various requests about facility rentals, ticket surcharges, non-discrimination compliance, leasing policies, public records requested by the lease. And he was removed from the committee, and according to him, none of this information was provided, and there were no meetings held for a couple of years. And the reason why is because, quote, it didn't trickle up, unquote. So I don't know anything about these questions, but a sitting council member, duly elected, has asked them. I think they should be answered.
It should what? What'd you say?
I think they should be answered. I think Mr. Sandoval should be shown respect. He represents District 5. I am a constituent.
Thank you, Sir Peter. Anyone else on this? Welcome.
Hi there, Tony, and the rest of the commission. Robert Reyes. When I look at the 990s going back to 23, I wasn't able to get them for 24, and I'm not able to get them for 25. I don't see the donations. I see that there's grants. For example, a consistent grant is to a gentleman that runs the softball fields, Wayland. It's there every year for $50,000. There's another $40,000 to Hartnell, and then there's like another $15,000 to the lady that wins the prize every year, the queen of the rodeo. The money that they suggest in the taxes that is a donation, that's prize money. You also have an area where they treat a concert promoter as an independent contractor. That in itself is not a rodeo event then. And that needs to be hit a little bit different than $1. That puts you up to $2, possibly $3. And so the reason why we're not seeing these meetings more consistently is because your taxes are a little different from what the paperwork that they've given us disclosed. The other thing is, as a landlord, when do you put the onus on the tenant to pay you? We should be holding these meetings. We should be running and going after the money. It's not, we don't leave it up to the rodeo to try to pay us. We should be there. So the math is fairly simple. At a concert, the format tells you 15,000 people fit, about another 4 or 5 fit on the ground. You run that off to 20,000 people because it's a sold-out event. So the numbers are not adding up here. They do not add up. And I also think that the way that they contribute, if you do parking, they consider that kind of like a favor. Well, whoever does parking is actually working for that money. You're not giving it away. The grant is when it goes to Wayland. That's a grant because he gets it without doing anything.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? See no one? Sir? If there's someone else that's going to speak, please get behind this gentleman. That way we know. Otherwise, we'll close public comment.
Thank you guys so much for having us here. My name is Danny Little. I'm a director of the Rodeo. Kristen, thank you so much for your help a couple years ago when we were putting together the special events permit. I really appreciated that. We were able to kind of come to a solution, I think, that benefited everybody and sort of understood what was going on the ground. There was a couple things that I wanted to say, and when I came to the meeting today, I was hoping to talk about all the really good things that we do. And one of the things that stands out the most to me is every year, so I'm the director of the carnival, and as part of the carnival, we have a day every Tuesday of the week of the carnival where we have special needs families come from the Monterey County Office of Education, have 2 hours that are unencumbered at the carnival. So without the lights, without the crowds, without the sounds, they can go with their families and run around and really get sort of free run of the place without having to do any of the things that you normally would have to do at a carnival. So that's just an example, one really small thing that's not financial. It's not going to come through on a 990. It's not going to, no one's going to cover it because it's such a small thing, but I think it's really important to recognize that there's hundreds of these tiny little things that we do. We got the special buckaroos that we do on Saturday morning. There's so many things it's really, really hard to capture in one single meeting. And so I got a few seconds left here, so I wanted to correct just a couple things that I think I had heard earlier, and one was about where the money's going to. I think we have a meeting every year, and at that meeting every year, there's recognition of all the folks that have received grants, scholarships, donations from the Rodeo. And if you go there, there's 40 or 50 organizations that are involved there, and you hear about all the wonderful things that they're able to do. For example, Salinas Little League. Salinas Atlantic Little League is able to get new uniforms and redo some of their fields because of some of the money that was granted to them. And so it's things like that that I think are really important that we recognize. So thank you guys so much for everything that you're letting us talk about today.
Hello, my name's Dean Callender. I've been on the committee for the horse parade. This will be my 47th year. My father was on the committee before me, and his father on the committee before him, which pretty much spans the whole 100 years of the horse parade. And now my daughter's on the committee as well. We have, of 70 members on this one committee, 15 of them have their kids on the committee. And there's a lot of generational committees in the Rodeo. Perfect example right here with the Cabreras. And the horse parade is put on by the Rodeo, is free for the public. It starts on Thursday and Friday in the Alisal at 3 o'clock, and thousands of people attend and watch. We usually have on that parade anywhere from 35 to 45, maybe sometimes 60 horses and riders. On Saturday, Sunday, the parade starts at 11:30, runs downtown Salinas. Thousands and thousands of people watch it every day. On Saturday and Sunday, probably 3-4-fold of people watching. We usually have hundreds of horses. And all the people who watch the parade, therefore, go into businesses and in the downtown, in the Alisal. I see them coming out of having lunches and going and doing shopping. And these parades are put on at the expense of the Rodeo. There is no charge to the public to attend, and we put it on as a feature of the Rodeo to get everybody excited about the event, and we're happy to do it. And the members of the committee are proud for what they do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I've been attending the California Rodeo since I was a kid with my dad. We made it into a tradition. It's now part of our culture, along with my son. We took him in diapers, both of our boys, and it's something beautiful. The lack of ignorance or knowledge does not constitute a lack of transparency. The transparency from the rodeo is there. Look for it. Attend the rodeo. Go ahead and ask for the booth. Well, you don't have to ask. The booth themselves will advertise who's benefiting from you buying at that particular booth. It's a wonderful event. It brings no ifs or buts. It brings our community together. It's part of everybody's heritage. It honors my heritage in so many beautiful ways. From the Fiestas del Rodeo that now take place on Sunday, which is representative of the fiestas in Mexico, Banda Night. This year, even the priest from Ameca, Jalisco, will be attending the rodeo. That is a beautiful, incredible cultural magic that only the rodeo can make that happen. The mayor from La Huerta, Jalisco, will be attending the rodeo this year. It's a group of Korean people will be attending the rodeo as well. So the rodeo reached out to every single corner. And in terms of what it does for our city, boy, we would be in such trouble if it wasn't for the rodeo. And the economic impact, don't take my word for it. Try finding a restaurant, a hotel, go shopping during rodeo week. It's crazy. That makes our city better. That puts our city on the map. That's something beautiful that we should embrace and we should all support in every way, shape, or form that we can, whether you attend the rodeo or not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Connie Rains. I'm an honorary director and in charge of the Special Buckaroos. I want to piggyback off of what he said about the carnival. Every year since the middle of the 80s, the rodeo has allowed us to do the Special Buckaroos, once called the Exceptional Rodeo. And we have 24 children from the county office, special needs children that come, and we have this makeshift, it's kind of like Special Olympics, rodeo style. And the rodeo has had this for a lot of years. Not only do they allow special parking for these children, but they also give us 250 tickets every year, vouchers for the children and their families. Each of the kids get a contestant bag, just like the professional cowboys, and it's a great event, and we're very grateful for the rodeo for allowing it and keeping it going. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Lori Tuttle. I'm the Executive Director of Hope Horses and Kids. We are one of the many local nonprofits that have the honor of working with the rodeo. And I'm here tonight to express my gratitude to the California Rodeo Association. For the past 12 years, we've been involved with the rodeo. We work concessions. We bring horses to the Special Buckaroos event every year. And I can say these days are the highlight of our year. You know, Salinas needs this type of event. It's the one time a year where everybody comes together and we're all one. You know, it's people of every demographic are there just to enjoy the rodeo. I remember one Friday night last year, my daughter and son and I and his girlfriend, we were walking out after we had worked our concession stand. The band was playing in the midway. People were gathered around just talking and dancing. And I felt so much gratitude that this is what our city can offer us. It's needed. In addition to all of that, there's some local nonprofits that this is what they depend on to buy equipment, to buy equipment and the things that they need. I remember one year there was a nonprofit that works with elderly people, and they were able to put in an elevator or something that helped them. So there's really a lot of giving back to the community by the association. So I think that it's been a really big benefit for all of us. And again, I want to thank you all for helping us out.
Thank you.
Daniel Munoz, East Salinas resident. Thanks for finally having the meeting after 2 years. We appreciate it. great transparency here. I just have a question. I know every year there's a lot of police presence at the rodeo. I know there's a lot of fights, a lot of alcohol, and I would like to know if the rodeo, who pays for it? Like, do they pitch in extra for the extra police officers that we're going to need and stuff like that? And I would like to, maybe suggest that they do pay for that if it is the police department. I know sometimes they could have other law enforcement agencies that might volunteer the time and stuff like that, but I would like to know if they're paying, and maybe propose that they pitch in on that, because it's, I don't really go to the rodeo because there's a lot of fights. It's pretty dangerous there. I'm from East Salinas. I don't like to go to the rodeo. It's real scary. And I would like to propose that maybe if we, to raise some money for the extra police, maybe Tony Barrera has to do some type of event where he tie up a calf or something like that, maybe in the rodeo, some kind of event, get the community engaged, get some money for it, for the extra police presence that we need. So anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. And then I don't know where the money's at, and I haven't looked into it, but, I think maybe we should have an audit and maybe see what's been going on the last, 10 years or something like that. So anyways, thanks for having me. I love the rodeo.
Thank you.
Go rodeo.
Anyone else from the public?
Hi, my name is Ricky Cabrera Jr. I'm here speaking right now because we're all entitled to our own opinions, which is why we are here, but the rodeo is family friendly. You see kids there all the time. Yes, there's an area where you can have alcohol and you can maybe pass a little bit much, but it is not a dangerous, not a deadly place. No. And the rodeo is a beautiful place, and anywhere you go in this, well, just talk about this country. Anywhere you go in this country, any city, any town, there's always going to be a group of people who want to tear down something that is good, something that is popular, something that is beneficial for X, Y, and Z. But the rodeo is a great addition to Salinas, and I feel safer there than I do on the streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, people are getting excited now. Come on.
Evening.
Anyone else want to speak? Get in line, please.
Good evening, Kelly Sutherland. We first moved to Salinas when I was starting first grade. One of my earliest memories of Salinas was being in the Kitty Capers parade. My mom helped the neighborhood children dress up like the salad bowl of the world, and we were very proud as we walked down Main Street. I love that my children got to participate in this wonderful event many years later. My husband, who grew up in Southern California, thinks it's hilarious that half the town shows up to watch the other half shepherd their children through the Main Street. But I love it. I think it's just this wonderful small town America thing that we all gather together every year and participate in. When my youngest was about to graduate from high school and empty nesting was in my future, I decided to volunteer for the rodeo. I've been volunteering since 2019, and I remain awed by the huge number of dedicated and expert volunteers who show up year after year to run these very complicated behind-the-scenes shows. I spent some time talking to Dean one day about what is involved in the Kitty Capers parade, and it's mind-boggling. And there's somebody in charge of parking, and he is just an expert in parking. The logistics are phenomenal. The city couldn't just step in and do it. You'd have to have these people that have done this for generations. It's amazing. I love that the rodeo has an emphasis on hospitality and kindness. We have this howdy theme that we use, but I think the world needs more of that. We need more of that modeled in our world. I have been privileged to work on the scholarship committee where we've provided high school students, trade students, and grad students with life-changing money so they can continue their educations and then come back. And I'm very proud to be able to be a part of this event.
Great.
And I'm also doing pro bono work for them, and they follow the law and they do a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Seeing no one else, do we have anybody on Zoom? Ms. Sorado? Oratos? Oh, Mr. Guerra. Mr. Guerra, you're on.
Good afternoon, Jose Guerra, Montpellier community. Great. I love everybody's great opinions on this. I love it. I would like to see more transparency myself. How much does it really generate? If we didn't get a number, like how many millions of dollars you actually make with all the concessions, ticket sales, alcohol, events, concerts. That's not on here. I need to see the real books. And then how does a vendor pay? Or how much do you charge him to be a vendor there? We'd like to know that. We'd like to get a part of that. And since our infrastructure is failing in Salinas, why doesn't the Rodeo donate money to our streets? Our streets and other, items that we need done here in Salinas. How come the Rodeo doesn't give money to us for that? And I like how people say, that because you don't know about what's going on, that it's ignorant to not know or whatever. That's just a bad statement to say. For someone who's trying to be transparent and trying to be part of the public, why would you say something like that? Why wouldn't you say, hey, yeah, you know what, you need the information, we got it for you. I don't like how, you're entitled to your opinion, I agree. But don't put down people because they want to know answers to questions that you probably know. If you know, you should public them. Put them on Nextdoor, put them on social media, so we don't have to ask these questions later. There's no transparency. 2 years before you had a meeting, that's ridiculous. That means you're trying to hide something. I don't care who's up there, who's the board member, who's on the committee. You know what? We need a public committee to be there to regulate this, because I don't believe a lot of the stuff you guys are telling us up there. That's my opinion. You can take it how you want. I really don't care if you like it or not. That's my opinion. 100%. I'm a taxpayer, and things like that just upset me, that you think that because the public asks questions that it's wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Catherine?
I thank you all. I'm a member of this community 62 years. Rodeo's always been a great, 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 great thing. We used to have motorcycle races there when I was a little girl. So a lot of things have changed with our rodeo. I feel that it's kind of gone to waste. And I think part of that is due to transparency. I don't know what the big issue is about opening up the books, sitting down with, the board members and the community like we're doing right now, and open up the books. We want to see. We want to know how Dave Drew is being paid and intermingled in the rodeo, promotes the concerts. Taylor Fye is involved in that. Millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars are paid out. And the guy got out of prison for selling dope. He was pardoned by Brown. He's working directly with Dorigo. It stinks of rotten hell. We want transparency. We do not want any more decisions made by the committee of the rodeo until we're involved. You work for us. There's been numerous letters asking about Dorigo and her $1 million spending in effect with David Drew. No one answers that. In fact, she has an attitude towards people. If everyone's being honest, there's no reason to have an attitude. Open up the books. I have PTSD because this county kidnapped my grandson. Monterey County was sued for $1.2 million, and you guys won't even talk about that. The DA didn't even charge the agency or that 30-year worker for lying to take children.
Thank you, Catherine. Patty, is there anyone else? Thank you. Councilmember De La Rosa, you had a question?
No, it was answered. I have a comment.
Okay.
Well, you have over 1,000 volunteers, and it's always been a diversified group. And I just want to say, the volunteers that volunteer for the rodeo that I know, personal friends, they keep going back to volunteer. There's entire families that volunteer for the rodeo. So when I see that and when I hear that, it tells me the rodeo is doing something good. Because I know I wouldn't volunteer for an association if you weren't doing something good for the community. So that speaks for itself, the volunteerism that you're doing, and the giving back to our community. We heard it, we said it, you know, it brings the community together. Entire families get all happy and excited. The Kitty Capers Parade is coming up. I mean, the carnival, everything, the parade in East Dallas. I mean, it's just a fun week for the entire, not only the city, but for the entire county. And we're nationally and world known. Yeah, so we need to be proud, and I am proud. And you have a lot of support in this community for the rodeo, okay? I just want to say that. So thank you for all the good work, for all of you that are here today. And boy, I'm looking forward to Big Week. I still call it Big Week, okay?
Thank you, Councilmember La Rosa.
Yes.
You have a great fan there. That's good. Ms. Lundquist, being that this is an oversight committee and we are, I'm going to give you the dates for next year at the end of the meeting, but I would like to get some answers to some of the questions from the public that we had. And please feel free to get involved in this. The relationship with, and I'm looking at President Eggers being a former public servant with the police department. What is the relationship there, police department, Rodeo? Can we just share any information that we have, whether it's Ms. Lundquist or? Well, somebody says that, is a Rodeo paying the police department? Is the police department free, or do they volunteer? What is the professional relationship there?
Councilmember Barrera, Tim Baldwin again. If you look at the lease agreement, which of course governs our relationship, the provisions of the lease, we provide a base rent and a ticket surcharge, and in exchange, the city provides public services, including police and fire. We're not in control of the amount of services that we receive from the city, and we've worked cooperatively with the city to make sure that the right amount of folks are out there. But in exchange for that, there's the economic benefits associated with the event that we'll hear more about shortly. But I think it's, you know, and folks have seen numbers, for example, about what the costs of the police services are related, you know, to our event. I just want to point out that, you know, and you'll hear more of this from Barbara when she speaks to it. You know, as a result of this, you're receiving $200,000 in transient occupancy tax and $124,000 in sales tax, over $380,000 annually in local taxes. So we're a solid investment. We're the best public-private partnership that you have. And so when we, you know, account for the ticket surcharge under the lease, the city provides certain services such as police, and in exchange, you get this vast economic benefit that we'll hear much more about shortly. And when you see certain organizations or cities, a lot of times we're involved in association of rodeo committees and nationally with other committees, they have a really strong relationship with the city because of this economic benefit, because the city wants to draw in visitors from other parts of the state, because the spend those visitors make. And so I just go a little bit on my soapbox here because you're asking about city services. City services are provided at city costs under the terms of the lease, under the express terms of the lease. But the benefit the city receives are far, far in excess of what that expense is.
Thank you. You know, just for the sake to the public here today, we think the rodeo is fantastic. But this is an oversight committee, and we have to ask questions. We're building a city where all the great things that the rodeo is doing, we want to be part of that as well as the city. But being that you're in front of an oversight committee, sometimes we ask questions and people get puzzled. Why is he asking that? Well, it's our responsibility, especially when any member of the public, and you may be one of those members of the public, it is my responsibility as one of your council members to make sure that your questions are answered. That's my responsibility. and hopefully we can understand that. Ms. Lundquist, to that point, I know Mr. Peter had asked, Councilmember Sandoval had asked a series of questions, a lot of things, but can we just make sure, and just as time permits, that we start getting some of those answers?
Let me jump in on this one, Kristen, if I may. The city manager and I have been dealing with those questions directly and responding to those questions directly. So we're already taking care of that, Councilmember.
I appreciate that. And I like the public to know that. That's called transparency. Thank you, Mr. Callahan. So what you're saying, Mr. Sandoval, is already getting that information? That's correct. Well, thank you very much. And now we're going to get on to the second part. We're almost done here. The economic impact report. We will now receive a report from Ms. Cosley.
Thank you again. So I'm going to be going through our economic impact report. Let's see. We have it pulled up. Perfect. Thank you very much. So as we said earlier, I'm Barbara Cosley, General Manager for the California Rodeo. Wanted to just let everyone know that this economic impact report is available and has been available on our website for the past couple months. So if anyone wants to look at it, go through it page by page, please help yourselves. We hired Beacon Economics to come and do it for us. So they have done a lot of other large-scale economic impact reports for places such as Laguna Seca, Cali Roots, so they did those two locally. And also they have done them for Delta Airlines, Live Nations, Wells Fargo, the list goes on and on. But first wanted to go through the history that we have. So we have been around for 116 years, as many people know. We are the largest rodeo in California. We're also ranked 11th out of 638 in the Professional Rodeo and Cowboy Association. So we take a lot of pride in this rodeo. I know a lot of people that I know come out of state just to attend because it is a very big deal in our world. We're home to one of the most memorable arenas, so we're a very traditional arena. We have both a track and a rodeo arena, which that's not very common, so we're very well known for that. We also have a very memorable buckle that people are very proud to wear. I've seen some people want to wear those over their national finals rodeo buckle that they win for being the best in the world, so it's very nice to see our town's name on people when they're going through to the national finals. We've also evolved to a very big community gathering place, which is something we take a lot of pride in and take very seriously, and also the largest event in Monterey County. So to go through our purpose a little bit, our main purpose is our slogan, keeping the West alive and bringing community together. So our purpose statement is, we exist to preserve and promote the sport of rodeo while serving as a gathering place for our community where they can connect, celebrate, and thrive. So our main purpose, our main focus is keeping the sport of rodeo alive and well here in our county, in our state, in our country. But also we know that there are big intangible benefits that we give the local community, giving them space for sports, for events, free music. It's something that we would love to keep continuing as our main purpose. So for the economic and fiscal report itself. So we have this kind of divided between what is a direct economic response from the rodeo and also from the Salinas Sports Complex. So first we'll go through the rodeo. The rodeo itself actually supplies 83 jobs that are directly created and impacted from the annual rodeo. So that includes our staff, it includes vendors that come, it includes the stock contractors that bring the stock, the judges that come, the contestants themselves. So there's a lot of job security with our event. It is a $18.7 million output. So that includes attendee spending, capital investments that we do, and also off-site expenditures. So the attendee spending is what people spend while they're at our event, whether they buy souvenirs through us, whether they go to vendors, local vendors, and support those people. Also, the capital improvements is a very big piece of the puzzle. Like we have talked about all the different things that we've done earlier. And all of those are outsourced by local companies that benefit in the Monterey County. And then the off-site expenditures, that includes restaurants, local businesses, hotels, shops, all of that fun stuff. And next, the Salinas Sports Complex. So what I've just talked about is very much just focused on Big Week. But as we all know, we are a running facility throughout the year. So our other events that we necessarily put on are, we have the Monster Trucks event, which we just had last weekend. Hope everyone got to go, it was amazing. We also have events like Cowboy Gathering, where we have traditional cowboy music, things of that sort. We also have many rental events, so festivals, we have local promoter concerts, we also have a lot of banquet hall rentals. Lastly, Rabobank Stadium, there's a lot of, mostly it's actually a lot of local youth sports, high school sports, Hartnell has been there as well, community college, and semi-professional events. So at the sports complex, 10 jobs are directly employed through the complex itself, so that's mostly our staff. There's $3.1 million in output just from all the events happening on site. Over $350,000 is cooped in local taxes. So as Tim said earlier, 200 of that, 200,000 is in transient occupancy tax and 124,000 is in sales tax. And then this is just a fun little graphic to show everyone. The 93 jobs is for the total. The $9.4 million are in added value, so operating revenues for all the properties that are involved in the complex. $2.4 million is cooped in tax revenue between state, federal, state, and local taxes. $6.6 million is raised in local income, so that includes wages, salaries, proprietary earnings from all the 93 jobs that are supplied. Also the $21.8 million in the economic output, so that's the big number, just everything that we see at our facility, but also largely throughout the community. And again, these are just numbers. These numbers are mostly based on just in our county alone. There's a lot of trickle of money throughout the entire state. So attendance. In Big Week alone, we have nearly 90,000 people come through our gates. So that includes concert, extreme bulls, and rodeo. So a lot of people locally and a lot of people from out of town come and enjoy our complex, our event, our city. So the 60% of these people are locals, and a very big chunk, 40%, are visitors, which is great. So people who might not normally be here, right? They're not from here, they don't live here, are purposely coming to enjoy our amazing city and our amazing stadium. And the great thing about visitors is when they come, they like to spend money with our local economy. And on average, every person that comes from out of town spends $160 per person. So that kind of goes towards food, that goes towards lodging, that goes towards shops and enjoying yourself while you're in town. So the social impact, we've talked about this a little bit already, but we very much have a spent here, stays here mentality to try to help our local community as much as we possibly can. This past year, we gave $850,000 back to the local community through nonprofits and other sort of community events. Scholarships, since the 1980s, we have actually given out over $200,000 in scholarships to help people go to college, junior college, trade schools to help them better themselves. We also have 1,400 volunteers, as we talked about before, an additional 350 student volunteers that come, and they have worked over 5,500 hours of community service annually. Another piece of the puzzle from our social impact is the cultural identity and heritage. So the heritage, our horse parades, which we talked about a little bit before, actually have a total of 13,000 people enjoy that free parade every year over a 4-day span, which is a pretty amazing thing. We have over 1,100 horses come. And then also we have our Kitty Capers Parade for the kids that's been running for almost 90 years. This year the theme is America Salutes Red, White, and Blue, Red, White, and Boots, so come support and enjoy. Community giving. So between the years of 2021 and 2025, we have been giving back a lot to our community. Last year, as I've already said, we've given back $854,000. So since 2021, in the past 5 years, we have increased giving by over $475,000 to our local community, which is absolutely outstanding. It's something that we take very near and dear to our hearts. We have seen a 7% increase in the last year alone. So it's been a very steady uptick of giving back to those around us. And lastly, I wanted to share our mission, which is connected to our purpose. But the California Rodeo Association promotes the sport of rodeo and celebrates the Western way of life while providing a gathering place for the community. Through the California Rodeo Salinas, the year-round facility operations, we support local nonprofits, create opportunities for engagement, and strengthen the fabric for our community. In the future, we aim to focus on promoting rodeo and being here for our community as much as we can. So thank you very much. I appreciate all your time.
Well, thank you. It's a great report. Councilmember De La Rosa, do you have any questions or comments?
No. Thank you. No.
Anybody from the public on this subject, on the economic impact report? Anybody have something to say?
I just want to point out a few things that were on that graphic. It said that $200,000 have been given to scholarships since the 1980s. Since the 1980s. It's a long time. How much have they saved with the dollar rent? I think it's a pretty good deal. That's pretty much, $400,000 is nice, but how much do you guys make a year? That's what I would like to know too. It's nice when you put graphics up and say what you're giving, but what are you making? That's what I would like to know too. We need to know that too. Where's that graphic? Oh, you guys forgot that one. All right, maybe the next time you guys can put it on there. Another 2 years maybe. Thank you.
We'll see you in 2 years, Mr. Munoz. Anyone else?
Yes, Eloise Shim again. I just would like to reiterate what sort of other people are saying in terms of it's good that they did give us some numbers in the economic, but it's pretty, it's not very detailed. You can't really get much information. And since it's such a money maker for the city, once a year kind of thing, I think that it should be more detailed. The income and the expenditures, that should be more detailed, and there should be more of these committee meetings. I would say, at least 2, and they should be giving the public this information 4 or 5 months before the actual event, just so people know really, what the status is, the economic status is, because you can say it's a great money maker and we give a lot of money, but that doesn't really, show the data, and people are data driven. Especially here in Salinas, they're data-driven. They want to know how much things cost. And so, yeah, that's my comment.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson?
Good evening. Name is Eric Peterson, and excuse me, I've been thinking about what Mr. Reyes said in the previous public comments about parking. And parking in situations like this can be, not necessarily is, a notorious problem. And I think better than hearing it from me, it would be really good to have more of these meetings, and bring in our police chief, who has experiences far beyond what I can muster in that. Also, this isn't directly economic, but a couple of weeks ago, Tony, you're familiar with MST, I know that. And I was on an MST bus, and there was a special event at the Rodeo grounds that had MST basically tied in knots. What had to happen is the driver had to bypass several stops, inconvenience some passengers because the special event was not providing any kind of control over the parking. And it was a mess. The bus could not get to the bus stops, and the bus driver did what she could, excellent bus driver, but there needs to be some kind of way to fix that. And one of the comments she made when I talked to her about it later was the Rodeo is a really big mess for MST. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yolanda Hayes from Creek Bridge. Welcome all. I just want to say that prior to any large event that Salinas has, I always see a lot of extra cleanup everywhere. We're hiding our poor population, our unhoused people, and we don't know where they're being put. Everything looks nice and tidy, but we're disrespecting our own people in Salinas. And I'd like to see them have a place to go, a shelter for them, rather than just moving them from place to place. I just don't know where they go, where they're hidden during the rodeo or those special events when we do have guests. But that is important to us, the residents of Salinas. We can't control our current population, and we have all these other visitors that are coming to Salinas. And I think we need to do some work there. It's a great event. I'm from Salinas originally, so I remember all the parades, and I'm very proud of that. I never really did like being called the salad bowl of the world, but that is where, where we come from. So I'm very grateful to AG for that. But a lot of our people get economic help with that. But I would like to see some better cleanup of our unhoused people. I don't know where they go. Please, thank you.
Thank you.
I have to apologize that you have to listen to me twice today. So
All right.
it's never very much fun to hear somebody talk
I
for
like
that
your
long.
carnival.
I just felt compelled to come up and talk a little bit. So I'm a lawyer by trade, which means that I like to get into the details and talk about rules and all the other things, right? The Rodeo itself is a nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. So the key word in that is nonprofit, right? So nobody's profiting from any of the events that are here. I think it's really, really important that everybody understands what that means. There's really strict rules that are in place under the IRS and under California nonprofit corporation law that require the organization to abide by certain things. And one of the key principles of being a nonprofit organization is that nobody's taking home any money at the end of the day. We're volunteers. You saw 1,400 of them, right? I mean, if you look here, these guys are volunteers. Look here, these guys are volunteers. So to answer the gentleman's question earlier, how much are we taking home? The answer is zero. In fact, I've probably spent quite a bit more money at the rodeo than my wife should probably know about. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anyone else? See no one? Mr. Cabrera?
Thank you again for allowing me to address. The entertainment industry is one of the toughest industries to do business with in the state of California, period. It is, we stopped doing the major entertainment because the profit margins were shrinking, and it didn't make sense to continue. And we stopped the major events like 10 years ago. And that tells you a lot about how this is going. And the cost of living, the cost of doing business is getting more and more expensive. Even in our companies, our profit margin is shrinking. And it has been shrinking like for the last 5 years. And we just have to deal with it. You're going to make less money. And it's nobody's fault, the economy, it is what it is. I understand, when, people can't afford to spend on other things with the prices of fuel, of food. But the question is, do you need to have healthy reserves? You should. You should have healthy reserves. God forbid we have another COVID situation and you can't have any rodeo for 1 or 2 years. That's an issue. About 2-3 years ago at the Monterey County Fair, we were hit with a real hot weekend, and the fair could have taken a hit. They actually took out insurance against hot weather, believe it or not, to protect themselves. But it had not been for that insurance, it didn't cover everything, but it did help. So there's a lot of things that can happen in the entertainment world, and this is about keeping a heritage, a tradition, a cultural event alive for many years to come. I want my grandchildren to be part of the rodeo. I want them to enjoy it, just like my dad had me do it. So, yes, you do have to have healthy reserves, and I hope you do. I don't know, but I hope you do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. On Zoom, thank you, Mr. Callahan. Mr. Guerra?
Good afternoon, Jose Guerra, Montevilla community. I'm doing some numbers here. I'm not an expert in math or anything. And I'm seeing here in 1980 to now, you donate $200,000. I did the math, it's $23 a year. And then from 2025 to 2021, 2025, $854,000. That's pretty weak. And if you're talking about 90,000 people go per the event at $160, this is the math I did. I'm not an expert. $14,400,000. I'm going to be realistic and say it's about $250 a person per day. $22,500,000. I don't see those numbers even being close. That's just going there. That's not doing other stuff that you do when you're in the area. I'm going to put it at the profit margins would be at least at $1 billion to $2 billion. And someone does make the money for the lawyer who stood up and said that everybody's a volunteer. Well, if no one makes money, we should have it in the city bank or in the city account under the general fund, and we could fix all our streets. I don't understand how, you guys come up with these numbers that we don't make any money. You make money. On liquor alone, you make a lot of money. I know people that work there as volunteers that don't get paid, which means you guys are making money there already. So guys, be a little bit more transparent. Bring some real numbers. Like everybody says there, show the real numbers. Tell us what you make. It's okay. You're getting $1 to rent it per year, which is awesome. I wish that could happen to everyone that lives in Salinas. That'd be nice. I'd like to have an event there for $1. As long as I covered everything else, that'd be nice. It doesn't work that way. It's who you know, not what you know. I'm noticing that in Salinas, you know that? And all you guys never come to council meetings. Never seen one of those people there that spoke.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. And now we come to our final report. Ms. Cossey on the strategic planning. Who's got that?
Thank you, Councilmember Barrera. Tim Baldwin. A short comment here. We just wanted to bring it to the Oversight Committee's attention. Couldn't be prouder of the governance of our organization and our volunteers and everybody that's here tonight. We've undergone strategic planning. We're professionally managed, as you can tell from the presentation from Ms. Cosley. And as part of that, we've gone through a strategic planning process that we're now completing. And in that strategic planning process, we're going to undertake master facilities planning for the leased premises. Hasn't been done in quite some time. We bring it to your attention, Councilmember Barrera and De La Rosa, because back in the past, the cities participated in that. In fact, in 1965, the city undertook it. I've got an old copy of that in my office. We're not asking for the city to participate in it, but we're suggesting that there might be benefit associated with the city tagging along with our process and our vendor as it relates to Sherwood Hall, the new recreation center, the tennis center. If you guys want to look at anything with respect to facilities master planning, it seems like it rolls up cleanly into your current general plan with the use there at the facility. We bring it up for that point only. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Ms. Lundquist, I'm going to look to your expertise on this, on what Mr. Baldwin just said.
I think the city is more than willing to be engaged through that process. And I am committed to being there and supporting through that process and doing anything that I can to support that effort.
Thank you. Councilmember De La Rosa, do you have any final comments?
Well, my comment would be that I think we should think about, we have said that we're going to come back in a year. Is that what you said? I don't know. I'm thinking, do we need to come back sooner than that?
Oh, yes, we're coming sooner. Yeah.
I mean,
If I could, we do have 2 meeting dates that are scheduled for 2027 so
Okay.
far. The first one being January 11th and the second, June 14th, both at 6 o'clock. They'll be held here in this, in the rotunda here. We are working to coordinate a second meeting for 2026. And so when that date is available, we will certainly make that readily available to the public.
okay, so, thank you.
Anything else? Ms. De La Rosa? Ms. Lundquist, to your point, and Ms. Costley, in 6 months it's going to be December, and then we're going to meet in January. See how transparent we are here in front of the public. Would it make more sense, and I'm asking, because the lease does say we need to meet at least twice a year, and we will. We will meet twice a year. But my comment, and I'm going to look to you, Ms. Lundquist, Ms. Costley, 6 months is in December. I would like to recommend that we just meet January 11th, if that's okay. That'll be the 7th month. But at least we're going to meet again on June 14th. Does that make sense?
That's fine with me, if that pleases the Oversight Committee.
Is that legal, Mr. Callahan?
Technically, your lease says that you meet twice per year, but if it's the desire of this committee that you not meet again this year and just hold it in January for efficiency purposes, I don't have an issue with that. I don't know if Mr. Baldwin does.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Councilmember Breyer, we'll take your lead on this. You schedule and notice these meetings. And so, we're willing and able to meet sooner if the city feels that it's necessary. We don't necessarily think that it is. We're going to be very busy with a very, very large event, and we're looking very much forward to having each and every one of you attend the California Rodeo Salinas this July. But that will work for us. If there's a need between now and then, certainly we can notice a meeting.
Thank you. And I believe my colleague De La Rosa and myself, I think we're okay meeting Monday, January 11th at 6 p.m. here. Another point, Mr. Callahan and Mr. Baldwin, I'm going to look to your expertise. As we're looking at this lease, do we need to update it? I mean, there's information there that is no longer needed, but I'm not an expert at these things.
Yeah, Councilmember, in my opinion, there are some areas of that lease that need to be refreshed and updated. So if it's the desire of this committee, we can certainly undertake that effort by working closely with the Rodeo Association collaboratively to update that lease. And it would certainly come back to this committee before it ultimately would go to the city council.
Yes.
I agree. I think we should.
So can we make that happen and hopefully right before January 11th, we'll have something. Mr. Baldwin?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember Breyer. We're also interested in having discussions regarding potential modifications to the lease. For example, we brought up that Boys and Girls Club is on their final extension. They're a great part of our city. They've made a lot of improvements, and I think they would like, have expressed to us that they would like to look at that. And I think what we could do is have communications with Mr. Callahan and with Ms. Lundquist and see if we can get some broad top-line deal points that we could bring before this committee and move forward from there.
Great, thank you, sir. I am going to ask Ms. Costley and Ms. Lundquist if there are members of the public during this time that they may have pertinent questions. We just need to answer these questions as quickly as possible and as best as we can. We want to make sure that everybody feels that they're being heard, and I think we all agree on that. And to the public, I want to thank you for being here. It wasn't that bad, was it? So we're going to have a great time. I want to thank, did somebody say Ms. Sherwood was here? Somebody from the Sherwood family? Well, thank you very much. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you. And for our parade coordinator, 3 generations, I understand, 100 years. Can we give him a big hand? And you know what, Mr. Eggers, to you and your board, I want to thank you for allowing the Salinas Valley Charros being part of this great event. I mean, I'm from Mexico. I love my horse. My horse is Capricho. I've been involved several years with the rodeo as well. I have gone calf roping as well. When I was a little bit younger, I can't do it no more. I got arthritis. But the rodeo is fun. And you've noticed a lot of families. I mean, it's a great event. And I want to thank a lot of you. Let's just see, is there former presidents of the rodeo? Could you please stand up? We want to acknowledge your work. The former presidents, please. Thank you. Thank you, and Mr. Cabrera, I want to thank you for your involvement. I mean, you've been a great person in this event, as well as your children. And did you hear your dad wants grandchildren? So start working on that. He'll talk to you about that one. But it's been a pleasure having you here. I hope it's not your last time, but hopefully you will be here next year, January 11th. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.